Hello, everyone, and thank you, Eugene, for the introduction. Okay. So I'm very pleased to be here because for me it's important to tell about what we are doing, and especially go back to the university because not so long ago I was myself on the seats of the university, and I was wondering myself, okay, I'm very passionate about sustainability. I'm very committed to sustainability. But what can I do to make it more concrete, to engage the people, and to participate to the ecological transition that our society needs? And we all know that, I think, here. So today I'm going to present my experience and also what we are doing at Lacoste in terms of circularity. And I hope it will inspire some of you and maybe answer to some of the questions you're asking yourself as well. So I actually flew back yesterday to be part of the seminar after 2 months of trips in our factory to make sure that all what I'm going to introduce to you is actually happening and it's actually real. So let's go back to the presentation. So I'm going to talk about our initiatives in the circular economy at Lacoste. So here it is. So first of all, I would like to introduce the key challenges that any global brand like Lacoste is facing, I think, today. First of all, customer expectations, volatility. Indeed, you guys as customers are very tough because the trends are changing very quickly. In some countries, people want to have more sustainable clothes. It depends on the country, but I think the trend is global. So it means that any brand needs to change its practices in order to be competitive and attractive to the brands. This is also related to policies and regulations. Because, for example, if we take the European regulation, there is a new tool which is called PEF, Product Environmental Footprint. So any product put in the market from 2025 will have a ranking from A, B, C, D, and E, saying, okay, your product is sustainable or your product is not sustainable at all. So of course, one brand needs to be good in that, otherwise the customer will say, okay, no, I'm not interested to buying an E product. We can talk also about the economic war between the US and China, and for example, the US implemented a forced labor act, and for example, it's impossible to import any goods containing cotton from China in the US market. So it means all the brands need to adapt and prove and implement traceability in order to make sure that all the cotton is not coming from China. This is an example, and it shows that, okay, you need to adapt very quickly because the regulations are changing and moving very, very fast as well. The third point is about raw material scarcity. This year, there is less cotton on Earth than the previous year. This is really happening. So you need to consider that as a brand as well, because, okay, if we are lacking of cotton, what are we going to do? Because our business is to make that polo shirt. So we need to find some solution and alternative solutions to that. And the last point is, of course, environmental degradation. The textile industry is quite famous to be polluting, so we need to stop closing the eyes and we need to act. I think the momentum is here. All the factories are here, and my two colleagues will be able to talk about that later. But yeah, this is happening, and we need to do something. And today, so I'm going to talk about specifically the Lacoste Global Recycling strategy, so focusing on circularity and recycling. So when we started the project, so it was the program, I would say, it was 3 years ago, we tried to analyze the key facts of circularity and recycling, and what are the main issues related to that. So first of all, when you consider the full supply chain of one garment, in terms of mass, when you put on the market 2 polo shirts, you generate the equivalent of 1 polo shirt of waste. In spinning, knitting, dyeing, cutting, garment making, and then you have all the answer products or defective products. So overall, at industry level, it's not specific to Lacoste, we can consider that we generate that amount of waste, which is what we call pre-consumer waste. all the waste generated before reaching the final customer. Then, when we take one product, for example, one denim, to make this garment during the whole supply chain, it requires 7,500 liters of water, which is 15 years of your water consumption. So that's absolutely huge. And the third observation is that all the old polo shirts, so all the products that we are putting on the market, someday it will be a waste. And today, globally, 73% of the old products are ending up in landfill. And in Hong Kong, it represents 1,400 t-shirts every minute put into landfill. So you can imagine that, 10 times the people here, every minute we are putting our t-shirts in the landfill. So that's a huge amount of waste. So the question was, based on these three facts, what can Lacoste do to tackle these issues? So we developed one strategy, and actually we call it a mission, with 3 pillars. And the mission is to identify and turn our textile waste into new sources of raw materials and products. And it will tackle the issues of the pre-consumer waste, the post-consumer waste, and also to find alternatives to raw materials. So this is why it's divided in 3 pillars. So first, zero destruction. We want to make sure that 100% of our textile waste and unsold products have a second life. It can be recycling, it can be reuse, it can be different things. Then closed loop. So when you recycle the waste, part of this waste can be reintroduced in our products. So this is what we call close the loop. And third point, circulate, is to implement circular solution with the old products, so the post-consumer products. So I'm going through these 3 pillars in my presentation. First of all, zero destruction. So as you can see on the pyramid, we have many solutions to manage the end of the life of the product or the waste, the textile waste. At Lacoste, we ban landfill, we ban incineration. So this is what we are communicating to all our supply chain. This is what we are communicating to all our stores, our warehouses, our offices. We cannot destroy any textile waste. And then you have from the least acceptable energy recovery to the best one. So we can go step by step. Energy recovery, it means burning some waste to recover the energy, to make heat, to make electricity, to make whatever. So there is a kind of value from the waste, but it's not very recommendable. It's really for the super critical type of waste. Then we have downcycling. Downcycling is to make some other added value products, but lower added value than garments. So for example, the carpets, for example, the insulation panels in your cars, in your homes. So we have all of these solutions. Then textile to textile recycling. So it can be to make other garments or, I don't know, a blanket or whatever. Not specifically to Lacoste, but for the textile industry. Then we have the closed loop recycling for Lacoste products. So for example, we have some products, and we'll see it afterwards, in our collection using recycled cotton from our own waste. And the best solution from an environmental perspective is to reuse and remanufacturing the waste and the garments. So for example, you have a defective product. We cannot sell it with a defect because we want to protect the brand, but still, we can, for example, remove the logo, we can remove everything, we can remanufacture it, so we can sell it on another market or donate it, for example, to an NGO. Yep. In terms of implementation, just to give you an example, so we audited our factories to make sure they are really doing that. So today we can say it is for sure that 2,300 tons of textile waste are certified zero destruction. How we did that? We train all our suppliers. We created a waste audit. So we go into the factory, we are checking how they weight the waste. So you have some pictures. How you weight the waste below to make sure you have a proper reporting. How you sort the waste on the cutting table. How you remove the plastic. How you remove the paper. How you sort it into the bins, and how you store it in your warehouse. And we have good example, we have bad example, as the one you can see on the bottom right. So today we are not yet done because we are not happy of all the practices from our suppliers, but 73% of the waste are certified. And with the remaining ones, we have corrective action plans to make sure they reach our standards. And thanks to that, we developed a network of recyclers all over the world. And today we have more than 50 recyclers certified by us, saying, okay, we trust you. We are confident that you are going to recycle our waste properly. Then going on closed loop. Closed loop again is to make new garments based on our waste. So first of all, the first step was, okay, what are the source of materials that we have worldwide? So we have been quantifying the volume of waste in each of the regions to make sure, okay, we have that amount, it means we can do that amount of products. So that was the first step. Then in terms of supply chain, what is possible? Because it's not so easy. For example, in China or in Vietnam, you cannot import any waste because of the legislation of the country. So it means you can use only the waste which are already locally. In Europe or in the region of the Mediterranean Sea, it's easier, so you can create more exchange, but it also depends on the composition of the products. So you need to consider all of that. But at the end, we made it. So as I said, we have some products in our collection that are using recycled cotton from our own waste. These products reach the same quality standards, the same style standards as the typical conventional cotton products. And you can see, for example, on below, so it was a network between France and Tunisia. And we worked, so it's really partnership around all the supply chain, because it's new practices, so we need to train the different suppliers and make sure we reach also the quality standards. So this was a great success and the fruit of many months of work. So this is for the closed loop. And the last pillar, if you remember, is what we call circulate. So it's about the post-consumer, and we tried to make some take-back pilots, especially in Germany. So we asked 3 of our stores to open their door and accept to collect Lacoste polo shirts. We also open an online channel, so people could download a ticket and send back their polo shirts by mail. The condition was, okay, if you bring back your polo shirt, you get 20% discount. So it was an incentive to help the people doing that. And for us, it helped us to make some analysis in order to build the global solution and the global strategy we will make later on. And we also committed to recycle, of course, all the products. And just to let you know, the typical type of information we can get is, for example, how many years the people used the product before sending it back, the conditions of the products, so are they still in good shape or in bad shape? So if it's still in good shape, it means we could promote the reuse of the products, so we could develop second-hand product, we could develop repair of the products, so that there are very good insights. We also check the composition of the products and the color of the product. Why that? Is because to make a new product, especially if it's 100% cotton, you need to have the same composition initially. And so 100% cotton is very important to collect. And the colors is the same thing. If you collect a white polo shirt, you recycle it. Worst case, you want to make a blue, you can dye it into blue. However, if you have a black polo shirt that you want to recycle, the only solution you have is to make a black. You cannot put it into white. So all this information were super key and were helpful to build up our global circularity strategy, which is ongoing at this stage. So that was it. That was very quick. I tried to sum up the 3 pillars of our strategy. I hope it was interesting and inspiring for you. And if you have any question, I think we'll talk about it later.